see, direct variation, inverse variation, the excluded values of rational expressions, and then simplifying rational expressions. Let's get started. Here's direct variation, y equals kx. K is called the constant of variation. Inverse variation is y equals k over x. Again, constant of variation is k. Okay, so tell whether the equation represents direct variation, inverse variation, or neither. Okay, so here's three different scenarios right here. Well, what we have to do is solve for y, because this is y equals stuff. This is y equals stuff. So let's go ahead and solve each one of these guys for y right here. Okay, so this one here, we're going to subtract 3x on both sides, and we get 3y. Equals negative 3x plus 5, and then divide by 3, and then it has to be y equals kx without this plus 5/3. So this one's neither, you guys, because that plus 5/3, okay? All right, for this next one here, we're going to multiply both sides by the denominator to get rid of it, so multiply both sides by 3. Y equals 15x, that looks like direct variation right there, so that one's direct, okay? Here we're going to solve for y, so we're going to divide both sides by 5x, get y equals 5 over x, and this one looks like inverse variation, okay? All right, so if x equals 3 when y equals 2, find an inverse variation equation, and then find y when x equals 2, okay? So inverse variation is y equals k over x. So let's go ahead and plug in what we know. This x equals 3, so we'll plug it in down here. This y equals 2, so that goes right here. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 3, and we get k equals 6. Okay, now the first part says write a direct or an inverse variation equation. So what part of the answer, this is a two-answer problem here. One of them is the inverse equation is y equals k over x. Well, since k equals 6, y equals 6 over x, okay? And then the second part is find y when x equals 2. So we plug in x equals 2 right there. 6 over 2 is 3, okay? All right, so if x equals 3 when y equals 4, find a direct variation equation. This time it's direct, so we're going to go y equals kx, and then we're going to find y when x equals 2 again, okay? Again, we substitute in y equals 4, x equals 3. Here we're going to divide both sides by 3, and we get k equals 4/3. Okay, so the equation is y equals 4/3 x, y equals kx, okay? Now let's find y when x equals 2. So we just plug in 2, and then nothing cancels, you guys, so 4 times 2 is 8/3, okay? All right, so state the excluded values and then simplify. Your book will say simplify, then state the excluded values, but I think it's better if we do that first so we don't miss any. Okay, remember if we had x squared minus y squared, they gave us x plus y, x minus y. This is a difference of squares. Well, this is x squared minus 8 squared, so that becomes x plus 8, x minus 8. Okay, let's go ahead and state the excluded values. So set the denominators equal to 0, and we get the excluded values to be plus or minus 8. And then we can go ahead and cancel this x plus 8 on top with one of them on the bottom right there, so we're left with 1 over x minus 8. Again, two answers. So one of them state the excluded values, and the other one is the simplified version. All right, okay, do this one. Okay, and then so let's go ahead and state the excluded values right here. Well, the excluded value is when this denominator equals 0, so y equals negative 6. And then don't forget x squared minus y squared. Here this is y squared minus 6 squared, so that becomes y plus 6, y minus 6. And then the y plus 6 is canceled, so we're left with y minus 6, okay? All right, so here's number 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and factor that denominator first, so a little, I call it smiley face factoring because it looks like a smile. 3 times 50 is 150. Other factors of 150 that add to 25 are 15 times 10. Okay, so let's rewrite this as 3x squared plus 15x plus 10x plus 50. Now we're going to group the first two together, GCF out a 3x out of these two guys, group the second two together, and we're going to GCF out a 10 out of those two guys. So when we do that, we're left with the common factor x plus 5. So there's the denominator factored right there. Okay, and then here factors of negative 45 that add to negative 4 are negative 9 times a positive 5, okay? All right, and then state the excluded values. So the excluded values are when the denominator equals 0. So here I get negative 5, here I get negative 10/3. That's one answer. Then the other answer is to simplify. So we'll go ahead and cancel those x plus 5's right there, and we're left with that for the answer. Okay? All right, find the product or the quotient. Okay, so here we're gonna we can cross cancel when we have multiply right here. So let's go ahead and cross cancel. 5 is going to go into this 10 and 25. 5 goes into 10 twice, into 25 5 times. 3 goes into 3 once, into 9 3 times. And then 2x's down here are going to take away 2 of the 5 right here, so there'll be 3 left right there. So looks like we're left with 2x cubed over 15. Okay, all right, here we have some things we got to factor first before we can cancel. So here I'm going to GCF out a 3x. Here this is x squared minus 4 squared, so that becomes x plus 4, x minus 4. Okay, so there they are all in color codes right there, and then we can go ahead and cancel things, you guys. The x plus 4's obviously will cancel, and then this one little x right here and one of these little x's also will cancel. So when we cancel all those, we're left with 3 quantity x plus 2 over this x, and we always write this first, you guys. This x, the singletons always go first, so the 3 goes first. That's a singleton, and the x is all by itself. It's a singleton. They always go in the front, and then the x minus 4. Okay. All right. Let's try this one. Here's a division one. Okay. So remember, keep, change, flip. So we keep this one the same. We change this to a multiply, and we flip this guy right here, and then you can start canceling, you guys. So 1y plus 3 will take off one of these 2, so there's 1 left. So when we cancel that, there we go. There's our answer. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this is going to be over 1, you guys. So keep, change, flip. Okay. I made it over 1 right there, and then let's go ahead and factor. Okay, and then go ahead and cancel the x plus 4's, the x plus 1's. We're left with 1 over x plus 1. Okay, if you are in my class, I'm going to assign that for your homework. Take care.